Every life eventually reaches a point of fracture. Sickness, loss, and internal struggle are universal experiences, leaving us to wonder why a world capable of beauty is also so frequently defined by pain. This search for meaning is exactly what occupied the minds of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Many modern interpretations treat their gods as a literal religion, a collection of magical beings who simply controlled the weather or the harvest. However, the ancients recorded a different perspective. They saw their myths as vessels for complex truths, using the stories of various gods and goddesses to represent natural powers and the internal traits of the human mind. Understanding this wisdom requires us to look past the surface of the fairy tale and analyze these narratives as sophisticated records of human nature. In the mythical timeline, humanity began in a state of uncomplicated bliss. They lived simple lives where their bodies remained healthy because they had no reason to exhaust or overtax themselves. But this ease came at the price of development. Humans lacked any form of higher knowledge, complex tools, or the structures of civilization. The transition from that pristine state to the world we recognize today is contained within the story of Pandora's box. By examining the mechanics of this story, we can see how the ancients viewed the difficult trade-offs inherent in human progress. The myth begins with the titan Prometheus, who saw the mortals as helpless and ignorant. He chose to intervene in their development. He stole fire from the heavens and brought it to Earth, using that heat to teach humans how to cook food, forge metals, and build their own security. In this context, fire represents the arrival of technological advancement. It is the catalyst that allows a helpless species to develop agriculture, architecture, and industry. The ruling gods did not view this as a gift to humanity, but as a threat. They grew terrified that mortals, now armed with these secrets of nature, would no longer be subject to divine authority. This reaction highlights an ancient observation that rapid human advancement creates new friction and always carries a significant, inevitable cost. Jupiter's retaliation was the creation of Pandora. She was endowed with beauty and a musical voice, but also with cunning and quick wits. She was sent to live with the brother of Prometheus, carrying a strange sealed box that the gods had filled with a specific cargo. Pandora was given one command: she must never, for any reason, open the container. The gods knew that by forbidding the box, they were ensuring it would be opened. Pandora began to hear voices from within, promising her that the chest contained knowledge that would make her as wise as the gods themselves. Driven by the desire to know what was hidden, she eventually lifted the lid. This breach illustrates the double-edged nature of curiosity. The same drive that allowed humans to master fire also makes it impossible for us to ignore a secret, even when uncovering it leads to disaster. The moment the lid moved, a swarm of hideous, winged imps with black faces and stings in their tails poured out, immediately attacking Pandora and her husband. These creatures were the personification of misery, aches and pains, bad tempers, greed, and selfishness. For the first time, these forces were loose in the world, infecting the human experience with both physical decay and moral corruption. Because bad thoughts and internal conflict were now a part of human nature, the old state of effortless, uncomplicated happiness became a physical and psychological impossibility. As the couple wept, a second voice called from the empty box, pleading for them to release one last prisoner. This time, a rose-colored fairy named Hope emerged. She promised to remain with humanity forever, providing a way to find peace despite the pain. This scale shows how the myth functions as an observation of the mind. While progress and suffering create a heavy burden, the inclusion of hope acts as a stabilizer, an essential part of the human psychological landscape. The story of Pandora suggests that while our curiosity and progress will always introduce new tragedies, humanity is built to endure them through the presence of an internal, resilient hope.